Hello, how are you? My name is Chris Kahuria. I'm an author and also a consultant in entrepreneurship and financial management. Today, I want to discuss a very important yet controversial issue that has been happening, and that is on investment scams. Because we've had recently stories of very many Kenyans being conned through what we would call scams of investment. Many people have put in their money and they have lost, despite the fact that they had been promised very rewarding returns on their investment. Unfortunately, these end up being scams. And for a start, I would want us to ask ourselves what is an investment scam or what is a scam for that matter. And I would say that an investment scam is any form of scheme that is collecting money from the public, allegedly with a promise of handsome returns on investments that never come to be. And we have had several of these. Some have called them pyramid schemes, others have called them cons, and so many of them have happened. And even recently, we have had many Kenyans losing their money to those kind of scams. And the question we always ask ourselves is, are we too gullible as Kenyans? Or are we too naive? Or are we too greedy? How comes there are so many scams out there capitalizing on our ignorance or taking money from us and never returning it back to us with the promises they made? Even sometimes we lose the entire investment that we have put into that. And I want to share a few tips that you should use to test whether any potential investor that comes to you is a scam, or how you should know that you are just about to be conned, or even if at least to know that you are likely to lose your investment in such a scheme. Ideally, investment schemes are not supposed to con us. But if we get into the long ones, that's how we get conned. And that's why each one of us should be very careful so that we don't get conned. And I want to share with you a few tips of how you should know that a certain scheme collecting money from the public is a scam, or at least it will elope with the investor's money. Number one question that you need to ask, is this a regulated scheme? What is the purpose of regulation? The purpose of regulation is that the government puts in mechanisms to protect investors' money. And that is why someone who is collecting money from the public for such a purpose should be regulated so that the public is protected in case such a scheme collapses or in case of any other eventualities that may happen in the future. And that is why you find that all those schemes or all those organizations that collect money from the public are regulated in various levels. For instance, banks and microfinance institutions are regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. That is, anyone who is taking deposit from the public is supposed to be regulated. That is, a bank or a microfinance institution is regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. Then we have other financial institutions like SACCOs, which are regulated either by SASRA for the upper tier SACCOs, or by the ministry or by the State Department of Cooperatives. Again, for purposes of protecting the public from losses. Because when someone is regulated, there are certain procedures and processes that they're supposed to pass through, certain compliance issues that are supposed to be maintained and to be followed to ensure that the money from the public is protected from such eventualities. And then we have other like insurance companies, which also collect money from the public and are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority. We also have pension schemes and provident funds that are regulated by the Retirement Benefits Authority. And also we have other investors who invest in money markets who are regulated by the Capital Markets Authority. And even people who invest in the stock market are also regulated in that way. So the purpose of regulation is to ensure that the public is protected, and also the government can protect members of the public from engaging in illegal activities. And those organizations are also regulated so that they only engage in activities that are regulated by the government. So if the scheme in which you are just about to put your money in is unregulated, then that is a potential risk. And you need to ask that as a basic question to any person coming to collect money from you. Ask them, who is your regulator? Are you regulated by any financial regulator in this country? If somebody is not regulated by any financial regulator, then you need to trade with care. Because in case something happens, then you don't have a recourse. And very many people who have lost money to unregulated schemes, the only recourse they have is to report that person to the police, hoping that that person can be arrested and arraigned in court. And even if that happens, there is no guarantee that you'll ever get your money back, because there is no such a procedure that has been set in law to protect you from such a scheme. Number two, you need to ask yourself, is this person promising a return on investment that is realistic? Because you'll find that most of these investment schemes that end up being scams come with a promise of unrealistic returns on investment. Some returns are clearly unrealistic. For instance, somebody who takes money from you and promises to pay you 10% or 20% per month from your investment over a period that is indefinite, that is already a red flag. Because the question is, where will this person invest that money to get that kind of return for you and also make profit for themselves? So anytime you are being promised a return on investment that does not conform or does not agree with a real market situation, a real economic situation, then you should start running away, no matter how good the deal is. In fact, we are always told when the deal is too good, think twice. Unfortunately, sometimes we are led by greed and the desire to become wealthy, and we end up giving money to this kind of schemes. And schemes that are not regulated, but are promising us very handsome returns on our investment. The question is, where is that person investing money? And it is interesting that some of these schemes look like merry-go-rounds. And this is a question I want to give to any potential investor, that there is no money that can be made through a merry-go-round unless that money is invested in a real investment process. So if somebody is not putting money into real estate or into the stock market or any other forum for investment, and they're promising you a return on your investment, you need to trade with care, because money does not grow on trees. Money is made through real processes, through real work. And anyone who is promising you money, you need to ask them where they are investing that money to be able to give you that kind of a return. Very important. And do not be in a hurry to invest. Try to investigate and find out if these people who are allegedly saying they are going to invest your money and pay you a return are investing in any real thing. Because if they are not investing in any real thing, then that is a scam. Number three, you need to ask yourself, what money are you investing? And here I want to give a caution. Anytime you are investing in any scheme where your principal investment is at risk, you must always ensure that you invest the kind of money that we call marginal money. And marginal money is that money that you can afford to lose. Do not invest your core money. Core money is the money that you need to run your day-to-day affairs. So if you are being asked to invest money in that kind of a scheme, ask yourself whether you have any money to spare, any money you are willing to risk to an extent that even if that money did not come back, you will not be distressed financially, you will not be affected. Do not make some crazy mistakes that people make. Some people draw away all their savings to put in such schemes. Others even use money that was meant to do something like pay school fees or pay rent or do something more important. And then you are promised that this money is going to earn a return within a month or within 2 months. And you end up putting your money that you need to run your life, money you need to for something essential in your life. Never put that kind of money in such an investment. And also, never take a loan to put into such an investment, because that's another tactical financial mistake. Always invest money that you can afford to lose. And if you don't have that kind of money, just let that option go, let that opportunity go. Another one will come. It will also give you some time to investigate and be wiser along the process. Number 4, very important, always tame your greed and your appetite for wealth. Because if that one is not done, then you are a victim, you are a potential target for any scam. All these scams capitalize on the fact that we all want quick money. We all want to get something we call passive income, money that we do not ideally work for. We all want money to come to us, even if we did not labor so much for it. And anytime somebody promises to invest on our behalf and give us a return, then it is very easy for us to be tempted to give our money. So tame your greed, because when you tame your greed, you'll be able to be a rational thinker. Because anytime you are led by your greed and appetite for money, for quick wealth, then what happens is that you become prone to abuse. You become prone to manipulation from people who want to profit from you and to take away your hard-earned money. So thou shalt not borrow. Again, I want to repeat this. Don't be so eager and yearning to make quick wealth to an extent of taking a loan or borrowing from somebody or from somewhere to come and put money in such a scheme. Do not be deceived that this life has quick money. People who know how to make money know that it comes through real hard work. So do not be tempted to make money in any other way. And finally, very important, whenever in doubt, consult an expert. Sometimes it is good to benefit from people who can give you objective advice. And one caution I always give, you cannot have somebody who is selling to you an option for investment and they are at the same time your investment advisor. Because we have had people who come to us, ideally these are salespeople, trying to make us buy into a scheme, to an investment, to a product, but they also want to purport to be our advisors on investment matters. Because anytime I am trying to sell something to you, I will always give you filtered information. I will always give you subjective information. I will always ensure that the information I give you leads you to what I want you to do. So if somebody wants to sell to you an investment option, get the information you need to get from them, and then go and consult an independent expert. And it is unfortunate that we are in a country where people have no value for expert advice. We think we know. We always think that we can judge something with our instincts. We think that we can trust somebody who is selling something to us to be our advisor. Ensure always that if you feel there is something worth investing in, look for someone, even if it is not somebody doing it at a fee, look for somebody you know who can give you objective advice on what you are just about to get into. And when you get that kind of advice and you feel it is contrary to what you wanted to do, never ignore that advice. Because sometimes we think people are trying to misadvise us. But I want to caution you that out here are very many scammers, very many cons who are ready to capitalize on our ignorance. And it has happened very many times. One time, I had a discussion with a friend who is an investment advisor. And he told me even very, very, very good organizations have capitalized on our ignorance. For instance, sometimes banks have lent out money to people to get into schemes that ended up bringing terrible losses, like purchase of IPOs or such things, because that person is ideally selling to you. They are lending to you and they're making money out of it. So always try to look for somebody who is objective, somebody who is not does not have an interest in your money, is not trying to profit from your decision. That is the kind of a person who you'd call objective. And do not shy away from asking for advice. And again, I want to remind you, there are very many scammers out there, very many cons out there, and you don't know when they will come to you. And if you don't take those steps I have given you very clearly, you could end up being a victim. So I want to recap again. Number one, before you get into any investment scheme, number one, find out if it is regulated, and if it is not, trade with caution. Number two, see whether the return on investment is realistic. If it is not, trade with caution. Number three, ask yourself, the money you are investing, is it money you can afford to lose? Again, if it is not, trade with caution. Number four, tame your greed and appetite for money, because it is that greed and appetite for wealth that will make you a victim of manipulation by cons. And finally, whenever in doubt, consult an expert. And I hope we can continue this discussion, and hopefully somebody will learn something from it and take caution when you're going to invest. And I want to repeat, money is made through real hard work. Do not be tempted to make money any other way. And when such an opportunity shows up, always be ready to consult an expert so that your hard-earned money does not go into the drains, does not disappear into thin air. And many people will tell you that they have been conned, and those people who con them are not even traceable. They are nowhere to be seen, because right from the word go, they knew what they were doing and they knew how to hide. So do not be conned, trade with caution, tame your greed, ask for advice. And I hope this information was helpful. So if this information is helpful, please like this video. Please put your comment. Tell me if you have ever been conned. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because a lot of great stuff is coming up for you. And thanks so much for even giving your time to watch this. Thank you, and God bless you.